What's going on, guys? El Tiburon here, aka Retro Tiburon, with another pickups video. This week we've got movies, we've got toys, we've got video games, we even have magazines. But before that, let's take a swig of energy drink. Swig of energy drink for all those gamers, movie watchers, grown-ups that don't want to grow up and still collect action figures. That one's for you guys and gals. Before we start, check out this awesome Tiburon Hollywood Hogan inspired t-shirt brought to you by artist formerly known as Stark Gaming. Stark. He now has a new YouTube handle, Sanctum Starktorum. A shout out to him for coming up with this logo. My buddy Billy reached out to him and asked him, hey, can you make like some kind of Hogan Tiburon amalgamation? And this is what he came up with. Really cool. Check out Sanctum Starktorum. Check him out. I'm gonna leave a link down below in the description to his channel. Really cool guy, one of the nicest guys I've met in the community. Very talented, as you can see. He hand drew this design. He also streams video games on his YouTube channel, and I think he streams a lot of stuff that I don't see anybody else stream. He streams a lot of like PC games, a lot of horror like VR games, a lot of really obscure like kind of like RPGs and card games on the PC. He has a lot of out of the box gaming live streams, so give him a look. Link down below in the description. Another swig of energy drink for my buddy Starky Plug, as I like to call him. Alright, we're gonna get started. I think we're gonna get started with movies. Let's start with the movies. First, some VHS stuff here. We've got Lucha Espectacular. Got this at my local swap meet. If you've been watching my swap meet hunt videos, you would have seen that I picked this up. By the way, shout out to everybody that's been watching those videos and leaving comments. I was really surprised that was actually getting some views. I just recorded like some footage on a whim, like let's see if I have any footage to put up some kind of vlog video, and I actually got like a decent response, like given the how small my channel is. I was kind of happy with the results, so thanks to everybody that's checked out the swap meet hunt videos. But yeah, I picked this one up, Lucha Espectacular. It's got who do we got here? Colosetti. I have no idea who that is. And MS1 and Gargola. Are these are luchadors? Who are these people? If Lo or Mazen, you're watching, who are these people I just read off? Versus Es Psicodelico, which I think that's the dude with the little spinning thing on his mask. Ninja Sosuke? Is that the Great Sasuke? And Rey Mysterio. So this is Rey Mysterio. This is not your WWE Rey Mysterio. This is the uncle of Rey Mysterio Jr., which gave Rey Mysterio Jr. the mask and the moniker, allowed him to be Rey Mysterio Jr. So this is the OG Rey Mysterio. So that's a 6-man tag, and this other 6-man tag I thought is really cool because it has Hayabusa, which is a very famous, he's like a legend in Japan. Hayabusa Ultraman 2000, isn't that like a kaiju character? Onita Jr. versus Chavio Guerrero. That might have been a typo. It says Chavio Guerrero. I'm guessing they meant Chavo Guerrero. Psicopata, el Psicopata y el Anticristo. Yeah. Really cool to have this. This is sealed, so that makes it even cooler. I was thinking of keeping this in my collection, and it'll probably be in there for a little bit while while it sells on my eBay store, because I saw on eBay that I guess some of these tapes, lucha libre tapes, Japanese tapes, tend to do pretty well on eBay. So I think I might throw it up on eBay, and on the meantime, I'll just leave it on my VHS shelf. If it sells, it sells. If it doesn't end up selling, I'll probably just break the seal and watch it myself. Next up, we got Valentine. This was also a swap meet pickup. I don't think I've ever seen Valentine, but it looks very similar to, you know, those late 90s horror movies like I Know What You Did Last Summer and Urban Legends, you know, all those movies that came out after Scream. So looking forward to check this one out. Now to some Blu-rays. Let's fire through this because I got a lot. And yeah, so I've pretty much run out of space on my movie shelf, so I gotta start making some cuts because I got those VHS tapes, and I'm starting to go weekly to the swap meet, starting to go weekly to the yard sales. I gotta make some cuts, so I think what I'm gonna start doing is just cutting a lot of like DVDs, maybe try to stay just to like Blu-rays and 4Ks, and yeah, I gotta make some cuts. I'm probably gonna get rid of some of my seasons from like Seinfeld, The Simpsons, because the chances of me watching, you know, popping in the DVDs to watch them are pretty slim, right? But anyways, I got See No Evil with my boy right here, Kane, Glenn Jacobs. Never seen any of the See No Evil movies. I think they made 2, but I think I bought the second one, and I don't know who I gave it to or I got rid of it, but I kind of got rid of it because I'm like, well, I gotta watch the first one because I know there's a pretty deep story in these, I'm sure, and I gotta watch the first one before I understand what happens in what's going on, right? I can't just go to the second one and not know what happened in the first one. Next up, we got Let Me In. I think this is a vampire movie. Never seen it. I think this is the American version. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's a Japanese version of this movie, but I've heard a lot of good things about Let Me In. Next up, come on now, a classic, The Wizard of Oz. You can't go wrong with The Wizard of Oz. Come on. Next up, this is Spinal Tap. I've never actually seen this movie. I know that Spinal Tap is kind of the movie's kind of like mocking like hair bands, right? But my introduction to Spinal Tap was actually playing Rock Band. In Rock Band, they had songs like Warmer Than Hell and Big Bottom, like really funny songs. And I was like, man, this Spinal Tap group has some funny songs. So when I saw this at the swap meet, I was like, let me snag this up. I think I got it for like $1. I want to watch this documentary. Another swap meet pickup, The Shallows. Really cool shark movie. This has Blake Lively. I saw this in the theaters a few years ago when it came out. Really fun shark movie. Very suspenseful, if you will. Next up, Skyfall 007. My buddies Ty Lord and Wubbs are doing a Best of Bond podcast on the Tyler Stevenson's YouTube channel, and they're starting to review the movies. I think they just did an episode for Dr. No, but I haven't watched their video because I haven't seen a lot of the James Bond movies. So I think what I'm gonna do is, you know, try to collect Blu-rays of the James Bond movies when I find them, and maybe when I see they post a review, maybe I can watch the movie and then listen to their episode, right? So that's Skyfall 007. Top Gun with Tom Cruise. I've never seen this movie, but I heard a lot of good things about that Top Gun Maverick, so it makes me want to watch this so that I can watch Top Gun Maverick. Next up, Pulp Fiction. By the way, I think I got these all for like $1 at the swap meets, yard sales, give or take $1. I wasn't a big fan of this movie when I saw it. I think I saw it early 2000s, late 90s on DVD. Wasn't a big fan, but I'm like, let me give it another shot because I know this is regarded as Quentin Tarantino's best movie. So I'm like, let me give it another watch. Maybe Maybe it was just one of those days where I wasn't in the mood to watch a movie. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced that. Maybe you're just not in the mood. You're having a bad day that day. So let me give this another shot. Let me give it another shot. Next up, Need for Speed with a Pinkman. What's his name? Aaron Paul Pinkman. I always call him Pinkman. Yo, Mr. White. Need for Speed. I just want to watch it because it's a video game movie, and I like this Aaron Paul guy. Seems like a cool guy, so I want to check that one out. Next up, the Ghost Rider collection on Blu-ray. Never seen any of these Ghost Rider movies, but I think I got it also, yeah, like for $1 for the 3 movies. They actually made 3 of these. I'm surprised, but yeah, just something fun to check out one day. And Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I was shocked I didn't already have this in my collection. When I picked it up, I was like, I'm gonna just pick it up and gift it to somebody because I love Killer Clowns. It's in my collection. I have a kind of a digital catalog on my phone of the movies I own. I do not own Killer Clowns from Outer Space on Blu-ray, on disc. I own it, but I do own the VHS, thanks to my buddy Ty Lord Stevenson. Very expensive VHS. I own the VHS, but I don't own it on disc format, and I love the movie, so I'm keeping this one. Another swig of energy drink for Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the video game. The video game just came out, so I'm looking forward to stream that soon. Alright, next up, we got Krampus. Is it It's Krampus? Krampus? Really looking forward to watch that one during the holidays. I'm sure my wife will love it. And we'll watch a little bit of like the what's it called, A Wonderful Life or whatever, and then some Krampus. 31 with Rob Zombie. Not a big Rob Zombie movie fan. Not a big Rob Zombie horror movie fan, but I think I got it for $1. Even at $1, I was like, am I really gonna watch this? I don't know, but I might give it a try. I am a fan of his music, but I don't know. Not a big fan of his horror movies. Next up, Creepshow on Blu-ray. Gotta love Creepshow. I'm a bigger fan of Creepshow 2, but this is a fun one too. I think this one has like Leslie Nielsen in one of the episodes. It has some like big name actors in it. Yeah, so it's cool to own this on Blu-ray. And the Mummy trilogy. I've never seen the Mummy movies either. I'm lying. I think I might have seen the Scorpion King, but I don't think that's like a spin-off, right? I don't think I've ever seen the Mummy one, so need to check these out. And just a couple of last movies I got. The only 4K I got, Batman Mask of the Phantasm on 4K. I had to pay $10 for this one, but I've heard a lot of good things about this movie. And funny enough, I was watching YouTube while I was on the treadmill one of the mornings, and I was watching like old reviews from Siskel and Ebert, and they reviewed this movie, and they're like really giving it a lot of praise and saying that the story is probably better than some of the movies from at the time, the 90s movies. So I'm looking forward to check this one out. Next up, I got this one at my local Goodwill. It's a Scream Queen double feature, The Fog and The Howling. I've never seen either of these movies. It's kind of the next movies are kind of going against my rule of maybe not collecting DVD anymore. But I've never seen these movies, so I kind of want to watch them. And then if I dig them, like get rid of it or hand it off to somebody else. And then, you know, eventually try to find these on Blu-ray or 4K. The Fog and The Howling. I got this one, Halo Legends. I'm currently streaming on Thursdays Halo Infinite with my buddies Billy, Killer, and Retro Ryan. Shout out to them. Yeah, so I saw this for like a couple bucks. I think it has like a bunch of like different artists and directors that made like anime short. They're like short animated movies, so that'd be cool to check out. Last but not least, I picked up Alice in Chains Unplugged, man. I loved Alice in Chains back in the 90s. R.I.P. Mr. Lane Staley, RIP to him. You know, you can't go wrong with the Rooster and Wood and Man in the Box. I do remember some of the performances from this unplugged event, so really cool to have this on DVD. I get breaking my rule, but I don't think they have this on Blu-ray or 4K, so really cool to own this. Next up, we're actually gonna leave the toys for last because I got some like really cool toys at a yard sale recently, so I'm gonna leave the toys to the end. We're gonna go to some magazines. Yeah, some magazines. Let's check out some magazines. So I picked these up at the swap meet. We got Cronenberg, The Fly, Seth Brundle Fly. I think I got these for like 3 for $10. I got 3 magazines. I of course looked through the whole box and I was like, dude, I gotta have this. I gotta have The Fly. It's one of my favorite sci-fi horror movies. So gotta find a spot for it somewhere to hang it up. Gotta love The Fly. Cronenberg at his finest. I picked up Batman. 1989 Batman, I believe, right? This is not Batman Returns. I think, yeah, this is the 89 version. But yeah, I have actually never even heard of this magazine. Did you guys know about this? Starlog? Never knew about them, but I love the covers. Next up, come on now, you got the Gremlin, and up here you got Leo from TMNT the movie. So really cool to have this. I already got a designated spot. I think the magazines are gonna go over there, like above the door, above Elvira's noggin up there. This one I picked up. It's a TMNT comic book. Picked this up at the swap meet too. I think I recorded footage of me picking this up. I think it was $2.50. All right, next up, some video games. First, another swap meet pickup, Cadillacs and dinosaurs. This is a hack of the video game, but you can play this on your Sega Genesis. So I'm kind of really intrigued to see what the game looks like on the Sega Genesis. My buddy Retro Ryan gave me a good idea. He's like, just make a short of it, make a little YouTube short showing what's on the game. So that's what I'm gonna do. Thanks for that idea, Ryan. Retro Dog. Next up, I picked up a Japanese wrestling game at the swap meet. I never thought I would find Japanese wrestling games at the swap meet, but I found one. And I don't read Japanese, so I don't know what it says, but I'm really looking forward to pop this in one day and maybe stream it and see what kind of wrestling game it is. Next up, another Japanese wrestling game that I found at the swap meet. This is Super Fire Pro Wrestling for the Super Famicom. I don't own a Super Famicom, but I do have a Retron 5, so if I ever want to play play the actual cart, I can just pull out the Retron 5 and check it out. I didn't get into Fire Pro Wrestling until the last few years when I figured out how to actually kind of play it, because it's very complicated to play Fire Pro Wrestling. If you just jump in without ever playing a Fire Pro Wrestling game, it can be very daunting and confusing, but once you get the hang of the mechanics and everything, it's really fun wrestling action. So really happy to have this in the collection. Next up, another swap meet pickup, Rygar. I used to love this game. I remember this was one of the games as a kid that I thought was really cool. Rygar. I don't know if it still holds up, but I remember loving the hell out of that. Like, he had like a chain or something, right? And you would whip these like roly-poly creatures with the chain. So it was like a yo-yo or something that he would have. So really looking forward to check this out again. Next up, Killzone 2. I don't remember where I got this, probably the swap meet. I've only ever played through the PS Vita Killzone. I played through the whole game during the pandemic and had a really fun time. So my goal is to eventually play through the PS3 games, the Killzone games. So yeah, happy to add this one to the collection. Next up, Dark Sector. I don't think I've ever played this game, but It looks kind of cool. It looks kind of spooky, which is right up my alley. So, you know, got it for like a couple bucks. Why not? Let's throw it in the collection before all those damn YouTubers and, you know, influencers spike up the prices on the PS3. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Next up, Godzilla Save the Planet on the PS2. I got this from off an offer-up deal. He was selling this and like 3 other games for 20 bucks altogether. And I know this was I know some of these Godzilla games are expensive, so I bought it. And just to be honest, I bought it to flip it, but it has some cracks. It has some cracks on the inner disc, little like inner disc area. So I don't want to sell it. I think what I might do is I might have it resurfaced at a local game store and just see if I can play it, if I can keep it in my collection, because I kind of don't feel comfortable selling it like this. You guys let me know if you guys know, can you play a disc that has those little cracks in the center? Let me know. All right, last but not least, let's get to the toys. Another swig of energy drink. Swig of energy drink for those toys. This one is a Lucha Libre 6-sided little mini Lucha Libre ring. Shout out to my friend Myra. She went to Mexico I think a few months ago, and I was like, hey, she was asking us, my wife and I, like, do you want anything? And I was like, Lucha Libre. If you find Lucha Libre toys, anything like that, I want it. I love Lucha Libre stuff. So yeah, she got me that little ring, and it comes with these little bootleg little figurines, which I think these were, I think Jax used to make these for WWE. So some of the guys are actually like the Great Khali. We have the Great Khali here, John Cena, Rey Mysterio. They just ripped off Mr. Kennedy. They just ripped off they just pretty much used the same mold and made their own little bootleg wrestling figures. But and this little 6-sided Lucha Libre ring, really cool to have this. Speaking of Lucha Libre, got these at I think these were off of an offer-up sale. Really weird. Heroes or Héroes de la Lucha Libre. And I got these because I just thought they would kind of display cool on the wall. But look, taking a closer look at them, this is not Mil Máscaras. This is not Dos Caras or El Perro Aguayo. These are freaking Thundercats. I don't remember the Thundercats ever getting in there with, you know, El Tinieblas and La Parca or Rey Mysterio. But I just thought it was hilarious. I'm like, I gotta snag these. Will I keep them for a long time? Maybe not, but they might be fun just to display for a little while. And I don't know the names of these characters, because I was not a Thundercats guy. I was a He-Man guy. It's just like Lionel, and who's this guy? That looks like the freaking Phantom of the Opera. I don't know who this guy is, but yeah, still cool figures, cool and funny figures. Next up, I think this was a swap meet pickup, Skeletor. I think I got this for like $5 maybe, and I really dig it. I've been looking for Skeletor, like the vintage one, but this one looks like the vintage one, so I was like, this is cool. So I picked this one up for $5. And I did recently pick up a Skeletor, a vintage one, and I forgot to add it to my pickups. I think it's in my garage, so that'll be for the next pickups. Part of me thinks it might be a bootleg because I got it too cheap. Next up, another swap meet pickup. I think I got this for $15. Not a big fan of the Ultimate Warrior because he beat my guy right here, the Hulkster, WrestleMania 6. So not a really big fan, even though I have him up there. Where is he? Up there, you know, next to La Parca over there. But that's because my wife bought me those wrestling buddies. But it is really cool, and it is from a really cool match he had with the Macho King at WrestleMania 7. This is the attire he wore when he beat Macho King and retired the Macho King for like 6 months, I think. So I'm still kind of torn. Am I gonna display this in my little wrestling show or somewhere else, little miscellaneous area, or am I just gonna sell it? I don't know. Just like a scummy reseller, am I just gonna sell it? I don't know. I don't know. Part of me, the little Hulkamaniac in me is still like, nah, brother. Get rid of that warrior. Get rid of that Jim Hellwig. But we'll see. It is a really cool looking figure. Speaking of my guy, the immortal Hulk Hogan, I got a circa Japanese version of Hulk Hogan. I think this is like Ichiban Hulk Hogan right here, back from the early 80s and 70s, sporting like a really cool Japanese shirt and some really cool glasses, and his Fu Manchu's a little bit longer. Let's read the back of the box here. It says, prior to Hulkamania running wild all over the world, Hulk Hogan reigned supreme in Japan as Ichiban. The giant powerhouse stepped into the ring against future WWE Hall of Famers like Antonio Inoki, Tatsumi Fujinami, and the Great Muta, and whooped all of their asses. That's not on the description, by the way. I just threw that in. Showing off a technical prowess that won the respect of the New Japan fans. So yeah, I was like 1 year old or not born when he was wrestling in Japan, but I've gone and watched some of that stuff on YouTube. One of the Hulkamania VHS tapes has a match between him and Stan Henson, which I really love that match with him and Stan Henson. But you know, a lot of people shit on the Hulkster because they're like, oh, all he did was this, and all he did was this, and all he did was leg dropping big boot. But if you watch his stuff from Japan, he actually wrestled. He had to wrestle there, and I think he's been interviewed. He's like, nah, over there in Japan, I couldn't get away with just doing this. I had to put in work. I actually had to wrestle over there because the fans wanted to see, you know, they wanted to see people like actually wrestle and, you know, not just do like showboating, you know. So yeah, really cool to add this to the collection. Ichiban Hulk Hogan. What does that stand for anyway? Ichiban. What does that stand for? And another immortal Hulk Hogan, a bootleg Hulk Hogan. This I'm pretty sure I had this Hulk Hogan, not this exact same one, but a version of one of these bootleg Hulk Hogans. I also had a bootleg version of like the Iron Sheik, and I had this guy that had like a triangle afro, and they were of course in my wrestling league. But really cool to have this bootleg Hulk Hogan, because you know what, when you were growing up in the late 80s and early 90s, sometimes these are the toys you got. And to be honest, when I was a kid, I wasn't like, oh, look at this shitty bootleg. I was like, oh man, I got another guy in my wrestling figure federation. So really cool to add this to the collection. Next up, I picked up the Juggernaut. This sucker, I can freaking, like, if I ever get an intruder and I'm out of bullets, I'm gonna pick up this Juggernaut and waffle him over the head. This thing must weigh like 40 pounds. This thing is freaking heavy, man. Like, start doing some bicep curls with this sucker. Yeah, I saw this at the swap meet. I mean, at the Goodwill, and I was like, oh, I gotta have this. This is a really cool figure, the Juggernaut. I always thought he was really cool. I loved him in the X-Men arcade. I think he has like a little like rocket launcher in the cartoon, obviously the X-Men cartoon, and he was really good he was really cool in the Deadpool 2 movie too. But hey man, you gotta love the Juggernaut, man. Powerhouse. All right, last but not least, I was at a yard sale last week, and this vendor had like a bunch of in-box toys. She had like a Chucky statue. She had like the Battletoads figures, some Battletoads figures that just came out. One of them was like freaking huge, a Battletoad figure, just like a bunch of stuff. I was asking her for the prices. A lot of them were really priced really high. But then she kind of like, I was starting to walk away to another yard sale next door, and I saw that she had this, the Batmobile. The Batmobile, and I was like, oh, how much is that Batmobile? Just that I was already walking. I was already like on the other. I was already on the like the driveway of the other house, walking to their yard sale. I was like, how much do you want for this? She said 40, and I was like, would you take 30? And she's like, yeah, sure. And I was like, dude, I'll take a Batmobile for 30. So let's check. I'm gonna unbox it live right here. Let's see how it looks. So it looks like it's from the movie The Flash. For those of you guys that know, the Michael Keaton came out as Batman in The Flash. But yeah, it's really cool to have this. I don't know if it's accurate to the Batman 89 and Batman Returns Batmobile, but it looks pretty accurate to me. I'm sure there's some tweaks. There's some stuff that's off. But man, this car is big. Look at this. Ooh. Let me not break this sucker. Oh yeah. So here he goes. The Batmobile. Yeah, really cool Batmobile. One thing I noticed right off the bat, like the front, it looks like the Batman Returns Batmobile. But weren't there? Hold on, maybe there's something missing right now. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, weren't there like some wings right here? And I see that they're removed. You have to attach them. And so I guess I don't. Yeah, I think he drives the Batmobile in there. I don't even remember anymore. And now it looks like the Batmobile that I know and love. You wanna get nuts? Let's get nuts. Come on, there's something in the driver's side. Is Batman in here? Let me see, does Batman come with this car? Oh, he is in here? So I guess man, I'm such a Neanderthal and klutz. I don't wanna break this, but I think it's Bruce, you in there? Keaton, you in there? Now, so I'm mistaken. It doesn't come with a figure, but it comes with like a card in there. I just read the side of the box and it says fits most 7-inch figures. And I do own like a little Batman. It's like a Japanese figure, but it's of Michael Keaton, so he might go kind of cool inside of here. Yeah, so what do you guys think? This is pretty badass, man. $30, right price for me. I might just have to find a spot for him somewhere. Yeah, so in the sale too, I picked up these two bad boys right here. Bad boys and bad girls. We got Chucky and Reagan from The Exorcist, or is it Regan? Whatever, Reagan, Ronald Reagan. But yeah, really cool. So I got that one for 30, the Batmobile. And then I walked back to her tables and I saw the Chucky and the Exorcist. So I was like, how much for this one? How much for her? And she says 20. I'm like, $20? I'll take her. And then I saw the Chucky and I asked how much for the Chucky. I think she said 40, 45, and I countered with like 30, 35, and I think she met me at 35. So I'm like, dude, I will take an Exorcist doll and a Chucky doll, and they both talk for $55, and they're really cool. I'm not gonna take these bad boys out of the box because, as you can see, I have like some wrestling buddies up here. This is a section that I love to like rotate, maybe like every 4 to 5 months. I like to rotate and change what's in there. I think as we get closer to Halloween, I want to put these up there with other Halloween figures. So for now, I'm gonna leave them in here, but really cool to have this. These talk, but I noticed this one doesn't talk. So I don't know if that's why she had it at 20. But I'll check it out to see if maybe it's broken, like maybe the little voice box is broken, or maybe it just needs to change the batteries. But dude, even if it doesn't talk, I just love how it looks. I don't care if it talks or not. Chucky does talk, so let's push the button on here for Chucky. See if you guys can hear it.
The true classic never goes out of style.
I love that laugh.
The true classic never goes out of style.
Yeah, so really cool. There's a Chucky doll that's like super big. It's like, I think like a replica. $500. I really like that doll. Good Guys doll. But I'm like, man, I can't justify spending $500 on a doll. Even though I told my wife, hey, if I ever find it for $300, I'd like to get that one for $300. And she's like, you're crazy. You are not paying $300 for a doll. So it looks like $35 is the right price for a Chucky doll for me, at least for me as a married man. But yeah, that's it. Just wanted to show off these pickups because they're accumulating. I'm gonna have my buddies Omega Ace and Tylord and the Billster coming over so we can head down to the SoCal Gamers Expo this weekend. So I gotta declutter. I gotta make some room so we can do some live streaming here on Friday night. So yeah, gotta make some room. That's why I wanted to do this pickups video, because I gotta start organizing here for my buddies, the NorCal SoCal connection. Yeah, but that's it, guys. See you guys later. Thanks for watching.